What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So we have a lot of information to talk about today. We'll talk about just the information that was dropped on news time today regarding the One Piece film celebration. So we did get an announcement a little while ago saying that on One Piece Day, we're going to be getting some type of film celebratory event. And we had thought that it was going to be relating to film characters debuting from One Piece Film Red on the 22nd of July. That was completely incorrect. We are having events start from that day, but we're not actually having the Film Red Sugo Fest on One Piece Day, which is a bit unfortunate because the character that they decided to input for One Piece Day is a lot less exciting than what we were expecting. But this is going to be here, the past movie characters only. There's going to be a free multi-pull given out on One Piece Day, which is tomorrow at news time as of this video going live. And you get a free multi, and every pullable character on this banner is going to be from the One Piece films. Now, we don't know if it's going to be a guaranteed legend or anything like that. Sometimes they do have free multis that guarantee you a legend on the 11th poster. I feel like this would be a really good opportunity to do that, and I really do hope that when we have the new batch at the end of the month, they actually introduce level limit breaks for all of these movie characters. For myself, because I've already got all of these characters at level 150, well, I've got level limit break level 5. I really want to go ahead and use these characters with severe upgraded buffs, so hopefully that happens. But yeah, as I said, we get a free multi-pull. Every rare recruit and legend on this banner is from the films, so that's what you get access to there. So if there's characters that you're missing, hopefully you can pull some of them. Douglas Bullet and Stampede Luffy are both fantastic, so the fact that they're on this banner is amazing. So this is going to be happening as of tomorrow, July 21st, 1900 PST time. But then there's also a couple of other little bits of information. First of all, as soon as we logged in today, One Piece Film Red Celebration login bonus starting July 21st, 1900 PST time. But look at that endpoint, October 29th. The Film Red login bonus goes until the end of October. That is dumb. I don't know why it's lasting that long, unless if we're having literally One Piece film celebrations from the end of July all the way until October. That would be crazy. I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting most of August to be dedicated to One Piece Film Red, but I think if they go past that, I think it's getting a little bit too much. But again, this is a pretty big celebration. Maybe they'll have a huge grand celebration towards the end and they have like a huge Super Sugo Fest or something. We don't really know what the hell's going on right now, but in this login bonus you can see that there are, you know, a couple of rainbow gems, 20 rainbow gems, as well as this brand new free-to-play Luffy. So this free-to-play Luffy was actually data downloaded as well. I'll leave the information on screen for you guys. We can talk about it real quick. So this Luffy, interestingly enough, is an int fighter free spirit, but is also a super type character, so for int. I don't know if that means that, you know, potentially when Uta gets a character in the One Piece Film Red Celebration, maybe she's also going to be an int character so it can work with Luffy. That could be, you know, quite possible. But anyways, this Luffy's captain ability is going to boost all characters' attack by 3.75 times, 1.3 health, int slots matching for the crew, and reduces bind duration by 1 turn. That's pretty good, and gives a chance at dropping an extra piece of treasure from the quest. So if this character is your captain, he has like a pseudo-buggy-esque kind of ability where at the end of the quest you have a chance to give yourself an extra drop. Typically, it's 50% chance to get an additional drop, but of course, if you're just starting the game, this is a great free-to-play character to get you on your way, as you can use him with basically anything. He's a rainbow captain. He has super typing as well, which is super cool. In terms of his super typing effect, you just need another straw hat, and his ability does 50 times his attack and non-type damage to all enemies, and then also increases crew's slot effect boost to 2.5 times. That's actually very good. The fact that a free-to-play character can give you a 2.5 all boost is ridiculous. And then when we have a look at the special ability, the fact that it's multi-staged, and you've got stage 2 specifically being -1 cooldown, 80 times his attack and int damage, so it's a damage dealing special. Changes block slots to matching, and doubles the attack for 1 turn for the crew, and boosts the crew slot effects by 1.5 times. So you use this character special, then the super type, so you get a 2 times attack boost and a 2.5 all boost. Again, for a free-to-play character, this is pretty good. We don't know what his potential ability is going to be. We don't even know if he has a limit break in general, but overall, I think that this is a pretty good way to start off the film celebrations with a fantastic free-to-play character. So that's coming. You can get him for free just by logging in on One Piece Day, and you can log in anytime between One Piece Day and October 29th, just one day, and you get that Luffy for free. So no ifs or buts about it. That's fantastic that they're introducing that, and of course the Film Red celebration, talking about the movie Sugo Fest, which we already touched upon. So all of those are coming tomorrow at 1900 PST time. So look forward to that. But now we get to talk about the One Piece Day Sugo Fest, and I'm so kind of upset about this one. I don't like the fact that the One Piece Day celebration is Zoro and Sanji. I think that this is a pretty terrible decision. The fact that, you know, Zoro and Sanji already have a couple of units in the game as dual units. And Sanji specifically, everyone kind of knows in the community that Sanji receives so many Sugo Fest exclusives. And Zoro himself doesn't really receive a lot, you know, in comparison to Sanji. And the fact that they're introducing yet another Legend Sanji into the game is kind of frustrating because there's just so many. I like that Zoro's getting some representation, but another Sanji kind of pisses me off, not gonna lie. So yeah, this Sugo Fest is coming out July 21st, which is tomorrow, of course, One Piece Day. And it's kind of funny because the recommended units is only Zoro and Sanji. They're the only recommended units here. We'll go through their abilities in just a moment. So we don't know who's on the Sugo Fest. We don't know what's boosted. The fact that it is a One Piece Day Sugo Fest, I mean, I think we can make a couple of assumptions, right? We can pretty much assume that probably Wano Law is going to be on the banner, and probably the Sai Straw Hat Super Type is going to be on the banner as well. That's just a quick assumption, but hopefully, you know, some of the Toby Ropos or Super Tandem Law and Kid are on there, like more recent Sugo Fest exclusives. It would be cool if they just said any Sugo Fest exclusive from the past 12 months is on the banner, and then just add Wano Law to it as well, because he also debuted on a One Piece Day Sugo Fest. Again, they could go in a lot of different ways here, but this banner is kind of interesting in the fact that it is just a generic Sugo Fest. It's not a super Sugo Fest, so there's no limited exclusive characters. However, I feel like this could be a celebratory event where they could put the waifus, Hancock, Nami, Robin from the Anniversary Sugo Fest back on here, because this is like a one-time thing. Like, One Piece Day Sugo Fest only happens once a year. I think it'd be a really good opportunity to make that character pullable once again, so people have a chance to get them, or to pull duplicates for their super final tap ability. So I think that could be kind of interesting. One thing to note though is that it is discounted on the first multi-pull, so at least that's kind of nice. But have a look at this, right? Let's look at these steps. You got a legend or rate boost on the second, a legend on the third, then trash, then a limited pull legend on the sixth, then trash, and then a legend, trash, and then another limited pull. But you see, this will keep cycling through until you get to number 25. So the 25th step gives you Zoro and Sanji guaranteed. But it doesn't end there. For some unknown reason, it just keeps going. Over and over and over again until the 50th step. I don't know why they've added so many steps to this banner. I think it overall is a good thing in a way, because people that go to those steps to get certain characters, once you hit the end point, there's no steps, so you just kind of relying on RNG to get you your pull. So the fact that they do add more steps that, you know, give you more opportunities to pull the characters you want is good, but this also kind of leads me to believe, like, what is on this banner? Like, is there going to be something that's going to bait people to go past 25? I don't know about that. And look, realistically speaking, you should probably conserve your rainbow gems for when the Film Red celebration stuff comes out, because it could be a super Sugo Fest, but also the Film Red celebration stuff is going to be super hype, and everyone's going to want to get their hands on those units, like Uta, who we think is going to be a legend, maybe a new Shanks unit. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But this Sugo Fest structure is just kind of bizarre. We haven't seen a Sugo Fest go up to 50 steps before. Very, very bizarre. But I guess you guys want to know what they do. So let's go ahead and break them down. So Zoro and Sanji are a Dex fighter slasher, and they are a super type character, and they are not a dual unit. So they're a fake dual unit, Dex fighter slasher, super type. The captain ability will be boosting Dex characters by 5.25, but then boost Sai characters by 5.4. Like, who comes up with this? Legit, what is that? They are a Dex unit, by the way, so they don't even receive the significant attack boost, mind you. I mean, 5.25 is good. It's still really good. But it could be 5.4. I don't know why they just didn't make, you know, boost both by 5.25, or boost, you know, boost everyone by 5 times and 5.4 with a matching slot or something like that. The fact that they change multipliers depending on the color, not a big fan of that. They also boost Dex and Psi characters' HP by 1.25 and give you 10% damage reduction, which is kind of cool. But then they also make Psi and recovery slots have matching slot effects, which is always nice. And then when you tap on this character and you have a Psi slot, a recovery slot, or a Wano slot, then you boost the type effects of your normal attacks by 0.25. So whatever boost you have that's color affinity, if you tap with one of those slots, they buff the color affinity by 0.25, which is fine, I guess. But when I first read that, I'm like, oh no, that means this guy's going to be a color affinity booster. And yeah, he's a color affinity booster with his special, which I'm not really the biggest fan of. Captain ability wise, he's definitely still usable. But it's the fact that it's not very exciting. It's a Zoro and a Sanji, and a very bare bones basic captain ability. It's not bad by any stretch, but this is very similar to some of the other Sugo Fest characters that we received this year. While these characters are really good, they're not really that exciting. They're not bringing anything new to the table, really. There's really not that much here. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the super type. So if you use this character as a captain, you get access to this ability. And you just need one of the straw hats on the crew, which is good, including Jinbei. And the effect itself does 100 times their attack in non-type damage to all enemies, and it ignores everything, including base defense, which is good. And then reduces Dex and Psi cooldown by 1, and gives you a 1.5 times chain multiplier boost, which is the same type of effect as the switch effect of Sanji Judge, or the switch effect of V2, Vivian Rebecca. So that's pretty big. That's very significant. I believe the only other 1.5 times chain multiplicative boost was from the Super Tandem Blackbeard with his Super Tandem ability. So the fact you can get access to this with his super type effect is very good. Obviously partners up really well with other chain boundaries and chain boosting effects. It's a pretty incredible effect. It gives you a lot of additional damage, right? So you get access to that as a captain, and then the special ability, which is 13 turns, and this is with level limit break, I believe, or with limit break expansion. So 13 turns is still pretty high with the expansion, but changes block and colored slots into Psi slots, which remember he makes matching as a captain. Then he reduces damage, or he reduces enemies' HP by 10%, so he's a damage dealing special. And then gives all enemies increased damage taken by 1.75 for 2 turns. It does not go through immunity, so that's kind of annoying. But then he says if you have 6 Dex or Psi characters on the crew, so if all of the characters on your crew are Dex or Psi, then you get a 2.5 color affinity boost to Dex and Psi. Otherwise, it's going to be a 2.25 times color affinity boost instead. Which, again, is fine, but it means that you're really only going to be using this guy normally against mono quick or mono int content. You can still definitely get a lot out of this, you know, even if this is like the only character with type advantage, still giving him a 2.5 affinity is good. If you use him as a captain, you can buff that to 2.75, which obviously is fantastic. But again, it still is a little bit reliant on you having type advantage. So overall, the character is, like, again, it's a fine character, but it's just not really like wowing me in any sense. Let's have a look at the crewmate abilities though. Dex and Psi characters base stats by 100 and makes Dex and Psi characters Dex Psi tandem slots matching. That is an incredible crewmate ability. Making 3 slots matching for 2 types of characters is kind of ridiculous. Yeah, that's kind of good, and especially with their special ability, right? Because they change all slots, or they change block and type slots into Psi slots. So you got to have some type of ability to make them matching. So that's a really good way to do that. Another thing that's kind of annoying is the fact that this character has a damage reduction potential ability. I think that they should just scrap the idea of giving damage reduction abilities for their potential abilities to legends in 2022. I despise that. I feel like it's kind of just a waste of a potential ability on this character. Really poor design choice. They do have critical hit, 90% chance for 10% is perfectly fine. And then pinch healing, 1.5 below 50, which is pretty typical. And then you've got their support effect, which attaches to any of the straw hats. And if you're inflicted with increased damage taken, he applies increased damage taken to the enemy. Interesting, a 1.3 times increased damage taken. The thing is though, is how often are you realistically given the increased damage taken? That is very uncommon for you to be inflicted with that debuff, and then you have to have a space for a support for this guy in order to inflict it to the enemy, and you have to make sure that they don't have full immunity, otherwise you won't get this effect. But realistically, if you can get this to work, it's just a 30% bonus damage boost, which is good. But again, it's a little niche because you have to rely on a very certain debuff to be inflicted to your team for this to activate. So take that as you will there. So overall, I think the character is good. And once again, the character's fine, but he's not like top tier in my opinion. He's just fine. He's perfectly okay. Then we've got the Rumble abilities we need to talk about. So in Rumble, of course, you remember he's a Dex character. So for Dex type teammates, level 5 attack, level 5 defense, level 5 crit, perfectly fine. Like Dex needed a buff in Pirate Rumble, right? 35 CT for their special is incredibly high. So they give Dex teammates level 5 attack for 10 seconds, which is not that long at all. And then targets 2 enemies with low HP for 2 times attack up to 2 times. I mean, they do good damage, but 35 CT for that is a bit excessive. I think they're good in Rumble, but Dex already have so much that this is probably not going to be used in the optimal Dex setups, but it's just another option that people can use. If you don't have Cat Dog, for example, this could be an option you could use. If you don't have Lucci, you could use this. If you don't have V2 Dofi, you can use this. If you don't have the Luffy, for the 8th anniversary Luffy, you can use this, right? Just replacing some other key units, but he's not going to be used in optimal setups, in my personal opinion. He's perfectly fine. So that's just basically the character. Like, the character's good, but it's fine. It's nothing broken. They're just ultimately good. Before we wrap up this video, we have yet one more character to talk about, which is going to be a brand new Clash event that's coming to the game. And the last time we had a Clash event come into the game was last One Piece Day celebration on Japan, when they had the One Piece Day celebration last year. They had Luffy and the Straw Hats, the Sai Straw Hat super type unit, and they had Clash Buggy come out alongside that. And we're finally getting another Clash in the game, and it's going to be Jinbei. So that's awesome to see that we're finally getting another Clash. But Jinbei, of course, was the final Straw Hat that needed a summer outfit attire version unit, and here he is right here. So Jinbei, I love the artwork, by the way. It looks really good. Jinbei himself is a Dex fighter powerhouse with a captain ability of 1.2 health. And then if your health is below 30%, you get a 3.75 times attack boost. Otherwise, it's 2.5 times. Yeah, I don't know about that captain ability. It's a bit whack, honestly. Not a big fan of that. 13 turn cooldown will be a 50% health cut, and then deals 30 times the amount of HP lost in damage to all enemies. That's okay, so it's a damage dealing special. He reduces Rainbow Shield by 3 turns, and he reduces Paralysis and Burn by 3 turns. And if the enemy has a defense down status, when you launch the special, you get a 2 times attack boost against defense down. Otherwise, give them 0 defense for 1 turn. If this guy doesn't have double special activation, he might be absolutely garbage, but just because of the way the character is built, especially with the captain ability, because if you're at full HP, cut it in half, 50%, cut it in half again, 25%, which actually procs his captain ability. And the fact that you've got a special ability that removes debuffs by 3, which isn't really that good. So if you double that, it goes to 6. Amazing. And then he's got the defense down conditional. It makes perfect sense for him to have double special activation. And with that in mind, this character is very, very good. If he doesn't have it, he's garbage. If he does, he's amazing. So it's a very, very fine line, but this is amazing utility, and, you know, health reduction units are kind of rare, so having another unit like this is good, and a defense down conditional boost is nothing to scoff at. I think this character is very good. What's his other effect? He makes tandem slots matching, and I don't know what the other crewmate ability will be. We'll have to wait and see. He doesn't have any support effect, really, and he doesn't have any rumble abilities, but look at the drip that my man's got. Whew. Out here, man. Alright, but that's the new Clash Jinbei, and likely the new Zoro and Sanji are going to be the optimal unit to use in this content. Obviously, when it drops, we'll have to break it down, but it's a 12-star difficulty, so it's going to be kind of annoying to get through, I think. But once again, we'll have to wait and see. But that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one today as we go through the One Piece Day celebratory units. And of course, Film Red is on the horizon. So I would probably advise you guys to hold your Rainbow Gems for Film Red. I think that's probably going to be the way forward. But that's going to wrap it up from me. Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.